What's up, hoop heads? Sorry for the little bit of a delay. We were trying to lock in the show, making sure we have some good content for you today. I'm your boy, JB the Chef, with Undrafted Hoops. It's our third episode of this NBA Roundup season, of this early NBA season. We're really trying to do our best to bring you some consistent content, some real shit. You know, we're not trying to spin narratives. We're just trying to talk about the game as we watch it on a nightly basis. Speaking of nightly basis, if you just know us from YouTube as Undrafted Hoops from our podcast, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that. We're also on Facebook, where we got our start as a group. We push daily content, stat picks, all-time stats, birthdays, any kind of news surrounding the league, trade, draft decisions, anything. So make sure you check us out on Facebook at Undrafted Hoops, or Twitter at Undrafted Hoops _, and once again on YouTube. If you haven't did it yet, smash the subscribe button. Share it, subscribe, comment, whatever you got to do. We're trying to get to 200. Right there. Help us get there and push the show if you enjoy it. So I'll shut up now because I've clearly talked way too much. We got a lot to cover, so I want to bring my boys on. Sasquatch, Tony Hoops himself.
Yo.
Look at him, fly like an eagle. What's up, my dude? Oh, shit. We found him. If you're looking for Gary, we found him. Mayweather himself. Yeah.
What's up, fellas?
There's a national search for him, but we've somehow come up with him at Undrafted Hoops here. So he's a hard man to get a hold of.
Sometimes.
Orlando Magic games, Baltimore Ravens games. This guy, he's a traveling man over there.
It's not every day I get to go see some of the best teams in different leagues. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The Magic, top team in the East. Ravens, number 1 seed in the AFC.
Let me tell you something. One of the most ridiculous things. I've been to one NBA game this year. You've been to one NBA game. We've both managed to go see the Wizards. How fucking depressing is that?
Of all teams.
Of all teams, bro. I gotta see the Wizards. But it's okay. It's okay.
You know what sucks though is I wish at least when we see the Wizards, at least I would have seen Jordan Poole slip and fall, something stupid crazy.
That's terrible. You don't even want to see him score 30. You want to see him fall.
Oh, I'd love to see him score 30, but what's it happened once?
Yeah, true, very true. Yo, Tony, have you been to any Sixers games this year? What did you go to? Pacers?
Yeah, just the one game, the in-season game, and Pacers gave it to the Sixers, so I got an L at my game.
Yeah. So the one
I've never
thing
seen
actually,
Wizards win live.
Luca is coming to Philly on a Tuesday. I want to make sure we get to that game. So, speaking of Luca, my man wins Player of the Week this week. 100% earned. Dude's been playing at an extremely unreal level. Teammates of his have come out, Markieff Morris, and said, "Yo, this dude is on a whole different planet." He said he makes the game look easy. That's what my eyes have been seeing over these last 5 seasons. Tony, I'm going to leave with you. I know you're a mega Luka guy. You're one of the guys that spun me on to this dude earlier in his career. This isn't anything new we're seeing from him, but he's starting to get some serious recognition from a lot of his peers, which wasn't so verbal over the last couple years, in my opinion. Let's talk about Luka a little bit, and tell me if what are you seeing from the new father, Luka?
What I see is he finally got back in shape. He last year, I don't really know what was going on. Last year was a little Luca was frustrated. He was out of shape, and now I just think that's the difference. Like the more in shape Luke, he doesn't get tired as much. He's making all his shots in the paint. I mean, this dude is incredible. Tonight he played. This would be considered an awful night. He had 28, 10, and 10.
Oh, that's awful. Couldn't score 30.
But no,
Did you
I
see
mean,
it's over under?
Yeah,
It was 36 and a half.
Wow, that's
Like
wild.
the fact that you're even set at an over under at 36 and a half.
It's insane.
Yeah, I am surprised at Luka's stamina. Kevin says I'm not. I mean, look, he came into the league a little doughy. It's been well documented at this point. But like Tony said, he worked on his physique all summer. Usually, he takes midway through the season to get into playing shape. I mean, he's there, bro. He looks kind of. It's only going to get, in my opinion, like when we talk about these guys, we talk about it like they should come into the league and just start winning right away. And it takes time, man. Like he was playing overseas. He wasn't playing with, American fucking prospects. Like, I mean, yeah, he was. Don't Tony. I know Tony is an advocate for the European leagues, but he wasn't playing with so many elites over here. And it took him a little bit to realize, like, in order to play at the stamina levels Kevin's talking about, you got to be in some type of a build, especially at the usage he's at. Now, Gary, the one thing I want to ask you about the Dallas Mavericks, they're 16 and 11 on the season. Would you say 27 games into the season, is this where you expected them? I expected them to be maybe a tad bit better, but 16 and 11, I think, is a good start for them. What are you thinking about Dallas, and was this what you thought you were going to get from them?
I thought this would be close to where they'd be. I mean,
Okay.
16 and 11, they've been back injuries. Kyrie's missing time. So, honestly, they're probably overperforming at the moment. So, when they get Kyrie back, the record win percentage should go up. 16 and 11 is pretty good. The West is tough. They're getting good production out of Grant Williams. Tim Hardaway Jr. looks really good again. Dante Exum came back to the States, and he's playing very well, playing a good role for them. Their rookie's really good. Derek Lively, great player. They're getting good minutes out of a lot of different people to go with Luka, which is making a big difference for them. I think their record can just keep improving.
Yeah, you make a good point with Exum, and Kevin just said he didn't expect this from Exum. Tony, I know you watched a lot of Exum when he was playing in I think the Australian League, correct?
No, he played for Barcelona for half a season, which is one of the better teams in EuroLeague, and then he played for Partizan, who would have probably won the championship last year if Yabusele didn't break Exum's toe in a playoff game in a fight.
Wow.
But yeah, he shot 45% in EuroLeague over 2 seasons. Like, I don't know why he wasn't signed even the year before Partizan, but it was probably the best thing for his career because now he just knows how to play off ball. You can't leave him open. He's a great defender. Just fits the mold next to Luka.
Here's a question for you, and we're going to dive into a couple teams' trade scenarios. I know there's been talk about Tim Hardaway possibly being moved. With him playing a little bit better, might make it a lot easier. Does Dante Exum make Josh Green a little bit more expendable? Because I know teams are high on Josh Green. If Dallas thinks that they can actually compete now, do you think that they might be? If you think Exum's good enough where they can possibly move Josh Green, is what I'm asking.
Yeah, he could definitely play his role. Definitely. I don't know what Josh Green's going to bring back,
Okay.
but definitely he could fill his role. I like Josh Green, though. I just don't know what the market is with him thrown in with Tim Hardaway.
Yeah, I just figured as Hardaway as the salary filler. If a team really like Josh Green, I guess. I mean, they're kind of capped with what they can do. They're not going to trade Grant Williams. They just got him. Kyrie's not going anywhere. Lively's not going anywhere. I mean, you could say, yeah, Josh is saying headband Luka. I dig it too. I mean, I wore a headband when I played, so I was the king of the headband with the upside down. I had to wear it upside down because what else am I going to do? But when you say that they're getting a lot of different contributions from different guys, is that a testament to Luka just really getting everybody involved? I mean, he's averaging 9 assists a game. That's got to be a testament of the guy that's running the squad, right?
Well, yeah, especially with Luca. I mean, the defense that teams play on him, they double team him a lot, force him a lot of ways. So it's leaving all those guys open, and it's up to them to hit the shots and the open shots, and they actually are. So that's what's making a big difference. Grant Williams is shooting pretty good from outside. Tim Hardaway also killing it from outside. I mean, how many nights is he putting up 20, 25 points, which is crazy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So look, let's pivot. I'm taking we dove into Dallas a little bit. I don't want to stay too much on him, but I want to pivot to the guy on the other side of the screen. He's right there, actually. The other player of the week, which is Giannis. This man is playing on a different planet. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Milwaukee right now. They're second in the West, second in the East, behind Boston. Him and Lillard seem to be finding their stride. They have one more loss than Boston. Actually, I'm taking a peek. Boston's up by 20 right now. So Boston will have one more in the win column, one less in the loss. But Milwaukee, it seems like when I watch Maxey and Embiid, and then I watch Milwaukee, and I watch Lillard and Giannis, they are cornerstone franchise pieces, guys you go to in the final 2 or 3 minutes. But Milwaukee is finding their stride with a new coach, with a new tooled roster. Tony, you've been a little on the fence with Milwaukee, but now that they're kind of finding their footing, Gary's cat, what's up? Big pussy behind you. Let's talk a little bit about the Bucks and where they've kind of settled. Now that the play-in tournament's over too, you're starting to see a little bit more edge from Milwaukee. Is this something you see continuing? And is this something that you see makes them buyers at the deadline? Because I know you're not too concrete on their second unit.
Yeah, I don't know. This is what I expect them from the regular season. Like, I expected them to be top 3 seed.
Oh yeah.
It's more so I just don't their depth and in play. I think they have some major flaws. But Giannis has definitely gotten better again. which is crazy. It's every season he gets better. Malik Beasley's playing much better now. They're definitely going to be buyers. The thing is with them, they don't have many assets, and
Yeah,
so
really.
they're going to be looking on the buyout market and all this stuff. I mean,
They
you
don't have
can
any
win
trade
with
out.
Giannis is that good with Lillard. Like they could still win series if they play at the top tier level.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a huge ask.
Yeah, it's got to be MVP performances, I think, for Milwaukee to overcome Boston defensively, because Milwaukee's defense isn't his prime. Um, but I'm leaning that they're actually, in my opinion, playing a little bit better than I expected at this point. Maybe not record wise, because they're kind of, like I said, they took them a little bit of time to settle in. But I actually like, yeah, I know defensively they're not there, but offensively, honestly, when I really think about half court sets and everything, Giannis and Lillard are as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Like they are like big time performances. Both of them are as good as it gets. I honestly think if they could somehow wiggle out a piece, not even a starter. I'm talking about if they could just wiggle out a 24-minute a night guy on the second unit to really, like, Jordan Clarkson is the huge get. And I know Gary wanted to talk about it at the end of the show, but I'm going to kind of, because I just thought of it, I want to kind of merge this conversation a little bit. Jordan Clarkson, I think, would be ideal, but
They're going to
you
get something way better from somebody
probably,
else.
okay, so you agree with Tony. Just the assets are probably not going to allow him to get.
I mean, Clarkson to Milwaukee would be huge. But I think Utah is going to get a better trade from somebody than what Milwaukee can give them.
Yeah, you're probably right. I actually, I want to pull up Milwaukee's salaries just to take a peek at them while we're blazing through this conversation. So, but Giannis, I mean, hey, I do want to say though, Giannis had a 64-point night against Indiana,
and they can win when he scores 11 because Lillard can drop 40.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna mention the ball thing. I don't even give a fuck at this point. But I know Tony is pretty hype about Milwaukee and Indiana's rivalry that they're building. And in early January, they play a home and home back to back. That is going to be fire ass series, bro. Fire. Giannis is going to be fucking fired up for that. So I want to talk about that. But Giannis had a 64-point night. But I mean, Joel Embiid, he also was right on Giannis's tail in terms of player of the week. So, and he started this one off pretty good too. We'll talk about him in a second. Is there anything else either one of you want to talk about Milwaukee before we pivot this into our early Rookie of the Year watch?
I will say Middleton is starting to look better. He's finally starting to look a little healthy. So if he gets back to like 80% of what he was, then I'm back on board for them winning. They could easily win a championship. They don't need him to be the old Chris Middleton. Yeah. They just need him to be consistent, and he's wide open for his. He just needs to hit threes, and so yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be watching Milwaukee, and I'm rooting for Chris. He's a pro's pro. It sucks he got hurt a lot.
Yeah, he is a pro's pro, and he kind of, even when the media or the fan base has been sour on him, he's delivered. Obviously, they became NBA champions together, him and Giannis. So definitely ain't writing off Chris. And a few times that I have watched Milwaukee recently, he has his jump shot. It looks like he's got a little bit more spring back in his leg. So that is good. That is good to see from him. So let's pivot over to this early Rookie of the Year watch. It's going to be a lot of guys you can touch on, but I want to talk about the two guys that are honestly putting up historical numbers. as rookies. But let's talk about. We're going to start with obviously Wemby, Victor Wembanyama. Has been getting rained on in a lot of the conversations that I've seen. Obviously, the internet trolls are undefeated, and they just seem to never go away. But Gary, should we give a fuck about their team record? I mean, like, yes, he's on a team; they're supposed to win games, but it's not about like this kid's 18, 19 years old. It's not about winning; it's about progression, right?
I mean, what number one pick comes into the league and just changes the team immediately? Besides, I mean, LeBron, but LeBron.
I want to hear you say it.
I mean, and even at that point, they were what, the 8th seed? You
Yeah.
know, still, that's a great rookie year. Wemby's playing amazing. The team is just not great around him yet. They're really young. They're learning. He's transitioning to American basketball, playing in the NBA. I mean, it's all a big difference. I mean, yeah, if 2-3 years from now it's constantly 20, 25 wins or less, then I mean, it doesn't make him a bad player even then. It just means the GM is failing him and other they're not putting anything around him because he's out there producing.
Did you happen to see Kevin's question?
No, I did not. Sorry.
He said, "Do you think that he's settling for jumpers in general because of the size?"
I mean, he seems to be wanting to shoot a lot and not really forcing his his way inside. But I mean, he is really skinny. It's tough. It's tough living down there for him.
He's shooting 28% from three. That is surprising to me, but also a lot of the coverage is fading in his direction. I want to ask Tony about his 3-point percentage. I want to come back to you with the question, Gary. But Tony, 28% from three, 43% from the field. Is this a result of getting used to it, or is this a result of, like Kevin's asking, is he settling too much because of his size?
No, this is just where he is at as a 3-point shooter. He also takes a lot of bad threes, like step backs and such. That he'll be over 35% soon. But like the Spurs aren't even trying to win. So that's like another thing. Like they're throwing in experimental lineups and just trying to like see what's like they're just throwing darts at a wall to see what's trying to stick and stuff. And since Wemby has moved to center, he's gotten way more buckets around the rim. And it's also a lot of times I see him run, he'll make awesome cuts and the guys will just miss him for easy lobs. Like if he was on a better team, he would be averaging probably around like 25 points a game. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also I like him taking jump shots and working on his perimeter game because this is all just trying to get him at his highest ceiling. So whatever he's doing right now, like try everything because
here's some of the stuff that I'm seeing. This is when I talk about the season of Wembanyama, and I've only watched him play a handful of times so far, but I've been following on a nightly basis. And this is what stands out the most to me. And there's so many things. His blocks, but this is what stands out to me. 38 versus Kevin Durant, 29 versus Minnesota, 27 versus Sacramento.
He beat LeBron.
And 30 versus AD. Yo, that's the shit that stands out. His last 5 games, hold up a second. His last 5 games, he's averaging 19 points, 16 rebounds, and 4 blocks a game. And he's shooting 35% from three. So when we talk about 28%, like Tony said, is he's at the 5. Now he's got a slower guy trying to come out on him on the perimeter, and it gives him a little bit more time, as opposed to little bit smaller, more versatile guy that can run out on him. Now it gives him, like Tony said, it might make a little bit of a difference. If he's taking a step back or something, the closeouts aren't as fast. But his last 5 games, bro, 15.8 rebounds and 4 blocks, 3.5 assists. This man is ridiculous, like I thought, what's funny, like you're watching a guy, and it's fine. I'm really hyped for their core, Saul Wemby with Gas, Saul Wemby and Kelvin Johnson. Vassell. That's Tony's. Oh, he said, Kevin just said it. Vassell. Beast, bro. Not consistently a beast, but that dude's a baller, man.
That's the youth.
Yeah.
Consistency will come.
They need a point guard, though, right? That should be their focus in the next season or two, correct? It's got to be point guard.
Like they're trying the Sochan lineup, and like I get it because they're in the experimental stage, but that lineup in general with him as the point has been got awful, one of the worst in the league.
Yeah,
that makes him look terrible.
Yeah. It's just like okay, so just quick, I totally agree with what you're saying, Tony. It's not necessarily kind of what we touched on. It's not necessarily about wins and losses. It's about maximizing potential, seeing what works analytically going forward, because San Antonio, actually, OKC takes it to the extreme in terms of tradable assets. But if you really look at San Antonio's next 7 seasons, they have a ton of first-round draft picks. A ton. Like, mind-numbingly. Like, close to OKC. But OKC, speaking of Rookie of the Year watch, this guy over here, somewhere over there, Chet down in the corner, is making a case himself for Rookie of the Year. This is surprising. Chet is surprising. Did I think he was going to be good? Yes. Did I think he was going to be this good for the number 2 team in the West? Yes, I am surprised. Tell me why I shouldn't be surprised from OKC.
I mean, he's a very polished player coming out of college, for one. From Gonzaga, they play a lot of real fundamental ball. He was a great shooter coming out of there and defender. He already had a year off. So, I mean, unfortunately, his injury was fortunate at the same time. It gave him a whole year to study the NBA. So he's ahead of all actual rookies. But one thing that really stands out, me and Josh talked about this one day, is like his shooting efficiency. Like his numbers, his percentages, Josh talking about at the bottom. His shooting numbers just jump off the charts. Like, it's insane. Like, he's almost, 40, 50, 90. And then he plays great defense, gets tons of rebounds, and he's on a team with a guy who averages almost 30 points.
Well, yeah, I mean, MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Shea Gill is an MVP candidate.
100%.
If he isn't in your top 3, I don't know if you're watching enough of OKC. So Chet might get the same benefits that Ben Simmons got. Ben Simmons missed his rookie season. There was there's a lot of people that argued that Donnie Mitchell should have got it. Ben Simmons wasn't a real rookie. Bullshit, okay? You're a rookie, first year, and Chet, if OKC, and Tony, we talked about this earlier in the week, if OKC is like top 2 or 3 team in the West, Chet could easily win Rookie of the Year. If he's that big of an impact on the top team in the West, come on, man, that's big time. He's playing 30 minutes a game now, 29.7. Actually, the one thing I wanted to ask you is, what exactly was his injury last year?
Liz Frank, the bone in your foot. It's not an ideal injury, but the recovery.
Chad Lewis had that.
Who did?
Chad Lewis of the Eagles.
Yeah,
don't know why. It's the only person I never knew who ever got that injury in my whole life. Wow, that is so cool. It ended his career. Chet Holmgren. Well, is it a recurring injury?
No, but there's just the the recovery itself kind of stinks. I don't know. My body, like, it's not it's better. Let me put it this way. It's better than like tearing your knee, but it's not there's better breaks to have. It's a weird bone in your foot. It's like in the middle of your foot. It's a fluke injury. Like, people were all shitting on Chet. Oh, look at him. He's too skinny. I told you he sucks. He can't even make a season, when all he did is take one bad step and his foot got hurt.
Yeah,
Oh, but you know what happened? Like Gary said, he was sitting in the lab watching
yeah,
this OKC team, taking notes. The guy right out of surgery was taking jump shots in his chair with his one knee, with his leg up in the air, practicing jump shots. But Chet is incredible. I mean, he got eight blocks versus Denver, then followed it up with 7 versus Memphis. The thing is, the guy doesn't need the ball. Like, that's why his shooting efficiency is so good, because he doesn't take bad shots. His
big
basketball
time.
IQ is incredible. Like, he'll impact the game. Like, that's the thing. He don't care. He could uh only get 3 shots in a game as long as OKC's winning. Chet's like, I did my job. We won. Let's go.
You're
Yeah,
gonna see one of, if not both of these guys, one day get triple doubles with blocks. If not one of
yeah,
them pull off a quadruple double.
yeah, bro. It's crazy. Like, we've talked about Giannis, we've talked about Wemby, we've talked about Chet. We're going to pivot this conversation to Joel Embiid. These are aliens, bro. These are guys that are moving. These are guys that are really just moving around at guard, not guard speed, but guard moves at 7'2", 7'3",
It's all two
and able,
creative players
and able to take a
from the
step back
left.
and bang one from fucking 30 feet out. Because remember, at their size, 30 feet ain't like John Moran shooting a 30-foot. You know what I'm saying? These dudes are fucking shooting the ball at eye level at the rim. It's crazy. I love watching it. Speaking of love watching it, I love watching Joel Embiid play basketball on a nightly basis. 51 tonight on Minnesota. Came off a bad loss at home to the Chicago Bulls, who were playing better. Tony will touch on that. But Joel Embiid is averaging like 30 fucking 8 points a game in his last like 7 or 8. Dude is doing Wilt Chamberlain shit. Rocking the city of brotherly love. Starting to get sixered up here. Tony, are we seeing Nick Nurse unlock a version of Embiid we have seen, but not at this level? He took it up just a smidget right now. Are you giving credit to Nick Nurse in this run?
Credit to Nick Nurse, but I'm giving credit to Maxey. I'm giving credit to Drew Hanlon. Like, Maxey in the summer just literally would just go to the gym just to practice passing to get it into Joel's like right spots on the floor. And also the locker room presence. And yes, Nick Nurse is a huge definitely a huge part of it. But and then look, Embiid's passing numbers are up
Yeah,
also.
that's been my favorite. I mean, like, yeah, we know he could score 35, but his passing numbers, Tony,
But
good point.
tonight was the best game I've ever seen him play. It was incredible. Like, he
Wow.
would just get to wherever he wanted against Gobert. He always had him backpedaling, and he would hit him with a hesitation, and his mid-range shot was automatic. And then when Gobert subbed out, Nas Reed was waving an SOS flag, save me.
He tried to foul out on purpose.
Well, the one play he grabbed him because he didn't know what to do. He's like, I'm gonna get dunked on, and he should have just let him dunk it. There was another play. Joel hit him with a quick spin and yammed on him.
Yeah,
It's looking too easy. It's scary. I know
yeah.
people are gonna say playoffs this, playoffs that. I'm gonna enjoy what I'm watching right now. I hope the Sixers are buyers, because this team is not far off, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. But Gary, I want to touch on Embiid with you because you've been highly critical of him, and a lot of it is justified. Some of it isn't, but that's for a whole different conversation. Some of it has been justified, and I'm not going to doubt that because I've been critical of him too. But like Tony said, he's making some of the things that look difficult very simple right now. Without Harden dribbling the ball around for 15 seconds, Joel's getting to his spots, like Tony said. But we've seen this. Me and him have watched Embiid play for 8 years, 7 years now. Is this something that you're starting to enjoy a little bit better? I know you love basketball, so you're critical, but you still enjoy. Are you starting to enjoy his play a little more? Because he's making this game look – he might have to play pickleball or something. He's getting bored.
I mean, it's pretty insane what he's turning into, because last year people arguing should he have been MVP, should it have been Jokic. I feel like he's out here proving a point, like it should have been me. It's gonna be me again. And if I want to keep making it me, it's gonna be me. You know what I mean? I had this crazy thought today because I was looking at some stats and I saw how Joel Embiid was playing over recent times. I mean, just look at Maxey, for instance, how good Maxey's playing around him. But Embiid's numbers, you may think this is crazy, but if he consistently plays this way for the next 5-10 years, he's the greatest center of all time. He's putting up these numbers are insane. If he pulls out a couple championships in those years, he's the most dominant center of all time.
Yeah, the only problem is Jokic is going to be standing in his way because that dude's trajectory is even higher.
But to me, it's the argument of Jokic would be probably more skilled, but Embiid is more dominant.
Both of them are just we're really just at a time where people really were calling for we need more big men in the league because the league was in a little bit of a lull for a bit while where it was a lot of forward, small forward, power forward dominant. Now we got these gigantors and they're getting. Tony had mentioned earlier, Giannis is getting better. We talked about Chet and Wemby, and they're not even 20.
Not to mention a few of these guys didn't even play basketball until they were teenagers or in high school.
Joel Embiid played this when he was 15.
Some of the best players in the NBA didn't even play basketball as kids. Imagine being one of those guys who dedicated your whole life, your whole childhood, and then some guy from a foreign country comes over to the NBA, just started playing, and he's better than everybody.
Yeah, he said, watch this pivot step back, mid-range, right in your face.
Insane.
80%. Tony, you hit the nail on the head, bro. His mid-range, like I told my dad, that little elbow free throw, that little mid-range is unguardable. He's shooting it at like a 75% clip, especially when, like you said, tonight he said, I'm going to get to my spot somehow. I'm going to pivot, take a dribble to my left, get to my spot, fade away. There's nothing you can do to stop it. If they can get him to that point confidence-wise, where it's like to know how to get to your spots. There's times where he used to get the ball in the post and he didn't know what the fuck to do with it. But now, with this resurgence of floor presence and knowing where guys are supposed to be, which I credit to Nick Nurse, it opens it up. Because now it's like, if I can't get to my spot and they're throwing a double team on me, I can get out of it now. Where before, he wasn't too confident in that. I think that's a big.
He used to get stuck in the double team.
Yes. He just didn't know where to go with it. And it's so easy to blame Doc Rivers, but I fully blame Doc Rivers. Okay? Fuck that dude. That's why he's commentating now. So, Tony, you had mentioned that you hope the Sixers are buyers at the deadline. Tobias Harris is becoming a moving scenery for the Sixers, and a lot of that is because he does need the ball in his hand. In order to be offensively productive, he's not a catch and shoot type of player. He can do it, but that's not his strength offensively. So I honestly, truly believe, given the Sixers' flexibility next year, they still might be able to go out and get somebody, not a max level player, but a guy that can make a difference over Tobias and still give him the flexibility of a max slot at the end of the season.
Yeah, I see with Tobias, I don't necessarily see. I think he's very good. I don't really
Can't win
see
with him.
much of an upgrade. He switches on defense. He does. He guards like 1 through 5 in certain spots. I just think he's finally in his role where he can take a step back. We don't really need him to score 15 anymore. He can score 10 or 12 as long as he's playing defense.
See, I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it isn't. Like, I don't know. There's who would you replace him with? Like, that's the thing. I don't know. He's doing incredible in his role.
Can I ask you a ridiculous question? I'm going to ask you a ridiculous trade question. This is totally, I don't know the word I'm looking for. This is out of left field, okay? Draymond Green is running into some issues in Golden State.
You don't want him.
Gary, I want to ask you a ridiculous question now. If Golden State said, look, this is getting a little distracting for the team, we got to move on from Draymond Green, would the Sixers be interested in a Tobias for Draymond Green trade?
I personally don't think so.
I actually like that trade. I
don't think a lot of teams are going to want to touch Draymond for a little while.
Oh, they will. Draymond's actually a great fit on the Sixers. I'm talking total hypothetical conversation here, but I want to talk about Tony G saying, who would you replace him with? Don't say Dallas. Nah, I don't see Why would Draymond go to Dallas? Dallas needs guys who are willing to shoot. I think that's totally fantasy, in my opinion. I do. And so is Tobias Harris for Draymond Green. It was just Tony had asked me, who would you trade Tobias Harris for? Or what teams would I call? I don't know. You have to replace him with at least another big man, right, Tone? Got to replace him because we have nobody to play the 4 if you trade
his contract expires after the year?
Yeah, it's got value.
Can you trade him for Buddy Hield?
Nah, we don't need that position. Because now you'll have a huge hole at the 4. You know what I'm saying?
Trade him to Utah for Markkanen?
Nah, he'll come. OKC will give up way more, right, Tone? I know you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I would love Markkanen. I just don't think if Sixers put all their assets together and
would you trade him for DeRozan?
I would. I would in a heartbeat. That guy is one of the most underrated players in the league. DeRozan is so good. He is.
That's got this man excited, bro.
Yeah, you woke his ass up.
Oh, he's so good, dude. No, just because like DeRozan, he changed his whole game to unlock Kobe White, and he still gets his. Like and DeRozan when he first was on Toronto, he could only score. Now he can play make. He is. I don't want the Heat to get him. I know people say it's a bad fit because him and Jimmy don't really shoot threes, but they would make it work. They would make it work.
I agree with that. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
I don't want to.
So that's a good point. We'll keep our eye on Daryl Morey. He just signed another extension with Philly, so you know that man. He's never settled. That phone's on the hip. He got 2 phones just in case. Speaking about things on people's hips, John Morant's back in action. He's got the hip. He said he kept receipts. Goes off, game winner. I almost predicted his entire stat line.
Man came out guns blazing.
Yeah, he did. Look at that. Thought he was John Wayne. Yo, Tony, you tell me before we go on this show, if Memphis makes the playoffs, John Morant could be the MVP of the league. Obviously, we immediately shot that down because the games played is not possible. But the Grizzlies are 7-19, 12 games under 500. It's not 6 feet deep, but is it 5.5 feet deep? Without Steven Adams, Brandon Clark still hurt. Marcus Smart set to return soon. Are the Grizzlies now haunting Western Conference teams because they were 1-11 at home? They really did not look that good, but they really didn't have a NBA roster fully equipped. Now they do. Now the full clip is getting loaded up. Are they going to unload it? Like if the Grizzlies, I think I love the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies are going to come out the second half of the year like, bro. All they got to go is 19-7 and they're 500. I mean, that's not like a fantasy.
Just
not a fantasy. That's really not a fantasy.
What, 5-15?
Yeah, bro, that's not a fantasy. I think from this team, not with the caliber of players like Desmond Bane has benefited the most from John Morant being out. Obviously, not on a win standpoint, but in a progression standpoint. You know, the focal point was on him, and he still delivered. This just makes his life 10 times easier.
Yeah. I mean,
now,
I feel like
Jackson,
even it was impressive that they won the other night. But they also fell down huge. We've seen that before. This was just, they stayed hyped. The game came back. Huge game. I don't know. I just got to see more out of the Grizzlies to see that.
You hate the Grizzlies.
I mean, it's not that I hate them. I mean, I do hate them. But, I mean, I was super impressed by Ja's performance, to not play for as long as he did, to come back, put 34 points up, come back from down 30 points basically in the game. I mean, it was crazy. But the Grizzlies have looked awful this year. So I got to see more than just one game against the Pelicans, who, as great as the Pelicans are, also are known to let down at times.
Yeah. Speaking of great comebacks last night, Golden State had a 17-point comeback against Boston. Boston was putrid in the fourth quarter. I mean, horrific. They cost me money. I'm pissed off at them. But I love when the Celtics lose, so I don't care. But Golden State, Steph Curry is one of the most ridiculous human beings on earth. When he is locked in at home, oh my God, bro, it just doesn't matter it just doesn't matter. If you give him a smidge of room and you got guys like CP3 looking for him, he will make you pay big time. So Golden State, a little under 500.
He owns Tatum at that arena.
Say it again?
I said he owns Jason Tatum at home in his arena.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people can say that about Steph Curry. He owns a lot of people at home.
Well, just in recent history, in the finals, Jason Tatum goes there and gets flashbacks.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to play there in a 7-game series. The energy is absolutely electric, especially when Curry's going the way he is. But recently, Klay Thompson's got it going on. Tony, is this something that piques your interest like Chris Middleton? You're starting to see a little bit, getting their sea legs back. Do you think? Are you seeing something different from Klay that Golden State might be able to say, we're going to roll with them and try to get him his extension? Because I was like, get rid of him.
I mean, the last 4 games, like that, Draymond getting suspended was a wake up call. Like Curry was frustrated, he was kicking chairs,
Yeah.
and they're kind of like, all
Maybe we
right,
should trade him
well,
for Tobias Harris.
let's level up. And now Clay, he is what 25 for what is that? I don't know. But over his last 4 games, he's made 25 3-pointers in his last 4 and has scored 30, 24, 28, and 24.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm loving it. And then Kuminga sliding in was good, and Pazensky was been playing well. He got hurt last night, hurt his back, but then CP3 had a really good game. So
A lot of minutes. Yeah, that kid showed me up. How do you pronounce it?
Podziemski?
yeah,
Podemski?
yeah. I
Yeah.
know how. Can't say it right now.
He plays tough. That's what kind of Golden State is dependent on over these couple years is guys that come off the bench, give them energy. Moses Moody's playing well, but his minutes aren't anywhere consistent where they need to be. Even when I still watch Golden State, I think like their last like 10 games have been within 5 points every game or something. Like totally ridiculous. They played the most clutch minutes of a game amongst any team in the NBA. A lot of that coincides with I just don't think that they're good enough. I mean, obviously the record tells you that they're not, but I think that to say they trade Draymond Green isn't far fetched actually. Like it isn't because if you watch the team, they can't. They know they're not winning the championship with this team. And the one thing Golden State is they're committed to winning. So Wiggins, Draymond, maybe CP3, but I don't know if you've seen this with Curry a lot. When CP3 hits him with a crazy assist, Curry loves it, bro. Because in order to win with Steph Curry that's how Draymond made a living. Find him. Like when he's off ball, just gotta find him. He only needs, like I said, that much space. And it's curtains. When he's fucking locked into the rim, it's over. So I don't know. Like the more and more I think about it, like Draymond's on the floor to get Steph the ball off ball. But now you got CP3 and now you got Dario Saric, who's been awesome for them in his stretch minutes and his ability to make plays with the ball in his hand. It really does, especially with this Draymond off the court. Well, it was on the court, but off the court antics, I'm going to call it because that's what you do off the court. You act wild. Maybe you might say insert Draymond here, especially if Golden State decides to extend Klay Thompson. If they say like, "Yo, we're gonna go in with Klay instead," then maybe something to consider, right or wrong, right? It's not totally far fetched, right?
I could see it. I could see something by Golden State. They got to figure stuff out. They got a huge summer. So to make a move now, I mean, the Wiggins contract isn't great. So maybe they have to move Draymond to try to figure something else out. I mean, I think everything's on the table for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if they want to try and win in this Steph Curry window. Gary, I know you love that dude as much as I do, so I want to see him play at the highest level. So I hope Golden State makes that commitment. On the other side of the screen is the guy I hate with all the passion in the universe anymore is James Harden. But I'm not a hated beard. I think you guys are fans, but I'm actually coming through a little bit here. Yo, Gary, I'm coming through a little bit here.
You're warming up like Harden.
Yeah, I want people to look at us on the screen and not be able to tell us apart. Except the red. So the Clippers are on fire. They've won. What did they win? 13 out of last 17. Did I just make that number up? My fucking computer died. I know they won, I don't know, something like that. 12 out of the last 15, 12 out of the last 16. They're finding their stride. Clippers all of a sudden look scary. I mean, they're supposed to look scary, right, Gary? You said it in the chat. They're probably one of the most stacked teams of all time in terms of,
that's
individual
who I
accolades.
picked at the beginning of the season to win the NBA title. And
You still standing on that pedestal?
I think I'm even more confident now. After what I've seen over the last 10 games, if they play the way they've been playing, good luck beating them in 7-game series. Kawhi, PG, Russell Westbrook, the way Norman Powell is playing, James Harden's back to playing like you got Zubac, playing amazing. Terrence Mann, that team is deep. Tyronn Lue is figuring out how to use them all. It's the starting lineup is almost an all-star lineup, and then you got guys like Westbrook coming off the bench.
Is Plumlee back yet?
Incredible.
No, but Daniel Tyson's been all right recently.
Yeah, but Plumlee's getting the minutes even when he comes back, bro.
Oh, when Plumlee comes back, Tice won't play a lot, if at all. Yeah, man, if they have LeBron, it's a wrap.
Leaves one LA team for the next. Ain't happening. I do agree with you, Gary. 7-game series, when a game goes to half-court offenses and all,
and you know how the league works. They're going to get another decent player in the buyout market. Somebody's going to get bought out, and they're going to go join the Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to see Power Man get traded still. I know they like both of them, but if there's a guy that they can think that they can realistically
they still have Bones Highland just sitting around?
Yeah, I'm bummed about
him.
I'm actually bummed about him.
Yeah, I liked him.
I thought he had a killer mindset. Like that dude.
But there really is no minutes for him at the moment.
Nah, not on that team, bro. No way. But I ain't putting them as NBA champions like you. But to think at this level, if they're healthy, that they can contend, like I think they can. Kawhi Leonard is. I want to touch on him before we pivot off the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard he's in almost peak physique right now. That dude is chiseled out, playing at confident levels. Scary times from Kawhi Leonard.
Putting up almost 30 a night the last 5 nights. I mean, that's the thing, though. You get Kawhi at that level, PG at that level, Harden at that level. There's no trio in the league better. And like I was saying in the chat, it may be the best group of talent ever put together on a roster.
Yeah, because even though they're not far off their peak.
The only one that's past their prime truly is Westbrook, and it's not like he's a bum.
And Harden, I mean.
But he can still drop 35 and 15 if he wants to.
Peak Harden's Michael Jordan scorer, bro.
But bro, James Harden just did it a couple nights ago.
He scored 30 points like 38 straight games.
But he doesn't have to be Batman.
No, but he's not.
10 plus assists.
No, I have to disagree with you wholeheartedly. He is as good as Harden is. Harden is great, but not. It's not that he's definitely not in his prime. I'm saying he's not even close to that level. No, he's not even close to his prime level. That's how good prime Harden was.
Oh, prime Harden was ridiculous. But I'm saying
like Harden is not on that level.
But I mean, on any given night, he can still put up 30 and 15 like he did the other day if he has to. But he doesn't have to do that.
You have to rely on that. If you have to rely on that from James Harden, you're not getting it.
And the good thing is they don't have to rely on it.
And if you need a reference Game 7 of the Sixers fucking Eastern Conference Finals. Because when you relied on him that night, he was that level of bad. I mean, he wasn't even that level of bad just that game.
In the playoffs.
What?
Even in his prime, he was that bad in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's just not. He's not whatever. I mean, it's not. I don't want to bash him either. Like I don't like him. Fuck him. I hope we don't win shit with the Clippers, but not to be a hater. But I'm not going to I'm not going to say, oh, I hope he don't win. It is what it is. You know, if
he's
he
in
wins,
a spot now where he doesn't have to be relied on, and he can really make a team great that way.
yeah, just find people. He has to commit to that role wholeheartedly, and I
Yeah.
think he can. I think that the team's veteran leadership is enough to get him there. So I'm not going to totally bash your decision. Tony, we're on the hour mark. We touched a little bit on the Chicago Bulls. When I had mentioned um, that the Sixers lost to him. Gary had mentioned Colby Jones. You've mentioned DeMar DeRozan. Um, does this make Zach LaVine, like you said, his value might not be where it is, but does this make Zach LaVine the odd man out, and he's definitely getting traded at the deadline? I think it's all whatever, but I
Yeah,
want to know.
they'll take whatever package they could get for him at this point. Uh, they're better off without him. He doesn't want to be there. They don't play better without him. Thing is, if they traded him last year, they may have gotten actual assets, and now it's more like you're trying to find a team for him. But yeah, no, the Bulls are just pretty good over the last 10, 7-3. I just feel like if they don't make any move, if they remove Levine and that's it, this is a playoff team. They probably should be sellers, but I just don't know. Bulls are interesting. They don't really like to tank, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, they're okay with maybe make the play-in. If not, they're a lottery team, and that's what they've been. It's kind of frustrating. They've also been unfortunate. The Lonzo Ball thing kind of threw a wrench in their plans. I would have liked to see him a little bit more. Wow, Josh hits me with the Halliburton Firestone. Indiana, interesting enough. Um, Indiana hit a little bit of a rough spot since the in-season tournament ended. Is this defense going to have a tough time? Because when the in-season tournament was going on, I said, "Oh, Indiana might actually be 7-8 seed." Now their defense is telling me something a little bit different. Is this problematic for Indiana, or do you think that Halliburton can kind of weed them through it? While they try to get um, healthy. Miles Turner was out the other night. Um, what do you think about Indiana? Rough spot?
Yeah, I mean, it was just really one bad loss, though. Was to the Wizards. Their
Oof.
defense is gonna be awful. So that's where I don't ha- have too much hopes in the playoffs with them. Once it gets more to a half court game, I think they could play an exciting series and win some games for some good teams, but not really meant for the playoffs. But the thing is, they were projected for 37.5 wins. So they win 45 and lose in the first round of the playoffs. The season's not a failure.
They're ahead of schedule.
Yeah, they're way ahead of schedule. So I don't know. I'm not panicking on the Pacers. They'll have rough patches where they'll lose a few games in a row, but then they win 5 straight. Just what kind of team they are.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're coming up on an hour. I wanted to kind of end the show. Gary, you had talked about doing a Christmas slate pick 'em. We're gonna nix it. We're actually gonna turn that into a post. Tony, Gary, me, Josh. We're gonna get a lot of the other guys going. Kevin, my man, was in the comments tonight. Jesse, my man, Luca. We'll get him in it. Forrest, Coleman. We'll make sure we get everybody's picks, and maybe we'll do something fun. Somebody will win some shit, or I don't know. We'll make some fun out of it. We'll turn it into a fun post. But uh, the thing I want to close on, I already hit you with my Golden State may entertain trading Draymond Green. But now that December 15th has passed, we found out that Jordan Clarkson might be getting traded. They put it out there. We've touched on that very slightly. Is there any teams that you want to just say might be buyers or sellers that would be a surprise to the casual?
Only one I got is if OKC all in, Laurie Marketing, and they're contenders to win the championship this season.
With marketing.
Yeah, marketing. All they need to do is Bertans, 5 picks or whatever.
Giddy,
they have all
Giddy's
these.
in it?
What?
Giddy
They
gets
can
it
even
done.
keep they don't even need to give up Giddy. That's how many picks they have. So they could literally do Bertans and what picks you want and go from there. You could.
That's a good point, Tony. I want to ask you this though. This is very important. Should Utah entertain a big deal for marketing?
Yeah, they should.
I agree.
If it's going to be that many picks, and then they already have all those assets for the Gobert and the Donovan Mitchell, I think they really are going for this kid Cooper Flag 2025 draft. So they're gonna
unload
because it's no one's signing in Utah. If you don't do it organically, they got no shot. So you take your assets, you find your players, you build around them, and then that's what I got for my surprise or what I like to see happen.
We've talked about this before. When a team like OKC gathers up all these assets, you can't keep drafting them. You eventually got to pick a guy and go all in for him. And I agree with you. If they get marketing, you said they can compete. You might be right. It would be a very, very, very good fit for that team. And I like where your head's at. Gary, is there a team you like to see surprise buyers or sellers in this market?
Well, I mean, before the unfortunate news of Mitchell Robinson being out for the season, I mean, I still would love to see the Knicks make a move, try and actually add another big piece, try to make a true run, because I don't think they can do it with the roster they have. They'll be competitive, probably get to the second round or so. But I want to see Minnesota go get somebody. I would love to see Minnesota get like a Jordan Clarkson.
Yes,
or
good call.
I don't know if they can, obviously they don't need Markkanen when they got Rudy and Naz Reid, and now McDaniels is playing crazy, and Cat. They don't have a need for Markkanen, but I would love to see them go get just another piece to make a run, because that's the team I think just maybe a piece away from being the true elite team in the West and up there to win it.
Yeah, they're going to be there all year. So a guy like that can really give them some staying power. Jordan Clarkson type off the bench, sparking them. And I do like it. He's a high energy guy too. And I think that's big for that franchise. So I'm just going to say, I mean, like I said, I spoke a little ridiculous with Draymond for Tobias, but I think the Sixers are going to be buyers. And that kind of changed my tune a little bit from the beginning of the season. I thought they were going to be selling, but I think that they are buyers. They see a window. I think they see Maxey as budding, and they're going to just re-sign him to whatever contract they can sign him to. And Embiid he's that dude. So we're going to end it right there. Yo, happy holidays to both of you.
You as well.
Let's make sure we do this before. If we can get this before New Year's, would be good. It's a little window between New Year's and Christmas, but if we can somehow, I'm off next Wednesday.
I'm off.
So maybe we can do one more before the New Year. Talk about the season in review type of deal, and well, it would be the end of last season and the start of this season would be a kind of a cool little tweak. A lot of stuff's going on in the league, so it'd be cool to highlight some of the things we kind of forgot about. That would be fun, actually.
Highlight 2023 year in general.
Yeah, the stuff that you forgot about that happened. That's pretty fucking big. So, as usual, Tony, appreciate you. Talk to you soon, Gary the Mad Wizard. Go Ravens this week. We need you to beat San Francisco in football. It's not to do a cross chat here, but you see it on the bottom. Josh, behind the scenes, always you're a beast. Like and subscribe. Smash the fucking subscribe button on Undrafted Hoops. Facebook Undrafted Hoops. Twitter Undrafted Hoops _ Peace out. JB the Chef signing off. Undrafted Hoops. Booyah!